Don't gas me, people. You can see this headline in front of me. Arsenal exploring a deal for Real Madrid winger Vinicius Jr. Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts on that. Don't gas me. Let me hey, make sure this is actually happening. This is not make-believe. What do you lot make of that off the bat? First thing is, yeah, there's some Arsenal fans on my platform who, when we've joked about Vinicius Jr., said, I don't want him because he's got an attitude problem. I bet you're a bit horny about this potential signing, isn't it? Again, I'm going to say off the bat, do I like the signing of Vinicius Jr.? Do I think it's a level raiser? Do I think it's a statement of a signing? Do I think this is one that makes me think, all right, we're here to stay in terms of getting into the Premier League and potentially winning the Premier League and potentially getting into the latter stages and winning the Champions League and trophies on a consistent basis, 100%. The first thing that I'm drawn to is Jose Mourinho has just gone to Real Madrid. There's contract stuff around Vinicius Jr. And then obviously, if you're going to sign him, regardless of his contract having a year left to go, it's going to be a big fee. You're probably going to have to shatter your wage structure, and that's going to have ramifications, people. So let me know your thoughts. It's a superstar. I can't lie, I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it, people, man. I want it, of course, I want it, but I'm pretty sure several dominoes have to fall. And I don't want to be negative, but Bacola, 1 minute we want him, then we don't. We're told it's 116+ million. Morgan Rogers was our top target. We never went and got that. Bruno Guimarães, we'll get onto that, but it seems a bit mucky. We're chasing Julian Alvarez, whose first preference is Barcelona. And obviously, if we can take advantage of Vinicius' contract situation, if Real Madrid want to get him gone, if Real Madrid want to sell him, or Vinny wants to go, then fair play. But you know, he's known in Europe is Real Madrid, and he, you know, as much as I love Arsenal Football Club, and it would be a different experience, everything's going to be a step down, essentially. So I don't want to pour cold water on it, but can you blame me based on how the market started? But nonetheless, Arsenal exploring a move to sign Real Madrid winger Vinicius Jr. if he does not extend his contract in the Spanish capital. So it's contingent on either Real Madrid saying you're going to leave, or Vinicius saying he wants to leave, or not signing his contract. So this, as much as I like the ambition shown for going for targets like this, I do see some fans on social media doing the whole this. I like the ambition of things, even if we don't sign him. I hear that and I agree with it, but it doesn't mean anything because when if the window shuts today, we can't start. We tried Vinicius Jr. We can't start. We tried to get Morgan Rogers, etc. The Brazilian international, who's won everything at Real Madrid, 26, figures prominently among multiple candidates for the Premier League champions to bolster their attack. That said, the interest is at an early stage and there's no guarantee it materializes into a deal. Now, there must be something if, you know, the hand of Arsenal's and the David Ornsteins have spoken about it. But it says the deal's early, no bids, no contract talks. It's just we've got interest and we're exploring a move if he doesn't sign a new deal. What is the cutoff point for Real Madrid if he does, when he is to sign this new deal or not? Be amazed, man. He's clearly going to sign a new deal, but the game's the game. And there's been no club-to-club contact. So when you get beyond the headline and the excitement, how far does it really and truly go? Vinny Jr. is into the last 12 months of his terms after 8 campaigns, and there's been no breakthrough in negotiations over renewal. How much he's going to be on that Arsenal? Not that I care. Real Madrid will not want to countenance, I can't say that word, losing the forward for free, especially as he would be due a significant loyalty bonus next season. Vinny impressed at the World Cup. He played in all 5 of Brazil's games. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil side crashed out early. Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Magalhaes, make sure you're doing your part for Vinny to sign for our club. He joined from Flamengo and signed for Real Madrid in 2018. He's got 128 goals and 100 assists in 375 games, people. So it would be amazing. He got 22 goals in all comps, and you'd be the key man here. As I said, unfortunately, everything apart from Real Madrid's a step down. If I'm Real Madrid, I'm getting you to sign a new deal. I'm marrying you with, you know, long-term Elise or Haaland. I think they're the next 2 on the conveyor belt, either this season, next season, season after that. You and Mbappe, they got several emerging talents. They're being linked with Yan Diamande, and actually David Ornstein has spoken about that. You wonder, how are they going to play all of these players? What I would say is, away from Vinicius Jr., but keeping up the theme with Real Madrid, we'll be here talking about all of these players. And I don't necessarily say I want to wait, but, you know, you've got Vinny, you've got Mbappe, they're linked with Rodri, they're linked with this one. They got more players than we can count. And they got a number of stars, the Endricks, the Arda Galers, these kind of ones, you know, potentially Camavinga, Tchouaméni. I'm not saying I want them or don't want them. I'm just saying these are the ones that are subjected to moves away from Real Madrid, right, people? So my thing is, try your hardest for Vinny, but stay attentive to those situations because not everyone's going to play. Someone's going to have to leave. You get where I'm going, people. I mean, it's not the same with Mesut Ozil, but I was pessimistic on Arsenal signing Real Madrid's Mesut Ozil, and I could be wrong, yeah? But wasn't it Jose Mourinho who elected to get rid of Ozil? Was it Carlo? I could be wrong on that. And there's also reports that say, way before this news came out today, granted, you know, that said that what Vinicius Jr wants to work under Jose. Jose considers him an absolute priority. We're gonna have to give him big wages. You're gonna have to spend a certain amount of money to get him, and then you're gonna have to do that, innit? I do think David Ornstein spoke about it and said this has been given the go-ahead in theory by everybody at Arsenal Football Club. So all those intricacies that are around signing someone of this caliber, it quote unquote shouldn't be a problem. You would have seen yesterday Arsenal are set to make a £70 million bid for Bruno Guimarães. He's our priority target. Newcastle are aware of his preference. Talks over a potential move apparently are ongoing and are believed to have accelerated in recent days. The agreement of personal terms isn't an issue. Again, we know Newcastle are not going to want 70 million. They might let him go for less next summer because he'll have a year left on his deal. He'll be 29, turning 30. They've seen what key players, Gordon, Tonali, is at last season leaving recent windows. And we know what the market is. It's put up or shut up. I'd love to know what the absolute hardline valuation of Bruno Guimarães is. So for me, would I like Guimarães? Would I like Vinicius? Vinicius Jr. left wing, Martinelli as a super sub, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Bruno Guimarães, Declan Rice, Zubimendi as midfielders. We can be a bit vexed over Morgan Rodgers, but this would make us feel well, people. So yeah, Arsenal have a hardline maximum valuation of Guimarães and are unwilling to overpay despite their desire to sign a midfielder. We've also been linked with Aston Villa's Ezri Konsa, as well as Jacobo Ramon of Como, but there's several clauses in the Spaniard's contract which appears to make that difficult. Julian Alvarez is described apologies as a dream target for Arsenal. Now, maybe I'm dream chasing too much, and this is just a dream. The dream is free, the hustle so separately. Could you imagine Bruno Guimarães in midfield with Rice, Lewis Skelly, whatever, Vinicius, Julian Alvarez, Gyökeres in the squad? Well, we'll win the fucking Tour de France, mate. I'll tell you that much. Apparently, Arsenal are willing to include Gyökeres in an exchange deal with Atletico for Julian Alvarez. The means justifies an end. I don't think that. I'd rather keep Gyökeres. And you know what? If they did do that with Gyökeres, at the end of the day, he would have been a success and he can leave with his head held high. Got to a Champions League final, a League Cup final, scored 14 league goals, 21 in all comps. They wore the number 14 and helped us deliver our 14th Premier League title. But I'd rather have Gyökeres and Alvarez than Kai Havertz and Alvarez personally. But let me know your thoughts on that. It's not just at first team level that we're looking at recruitment. Arsenal are set to complete the signing of Cardiff City's youngest ever player, Axel Donchiwe. I cannot say his name, people, but allegedly the 16-year-old became the youngest player ever to represent Cardiff's first team when he was introduced as a second-half substitute against Newport County in the EFL Trophy on October the 25th at 15 years and 234 days. I mean, the last youngster we got from Cardiff went down in Arsenal folklore. So if this guy could do that, great. Or if you get him for quote-unquote a low fee, he progresses and we can sell him for a couple of million. You can't go broke making a profit. As you're seeing, player trading is the name of the game. You know what? Away from Vinicius and all of that, Antonio Nusa has got a lot to work on, but if he really is available for 50 to 60 million euros, I think it's worth a punt. Arsenal and Tottenham are preparing to go head-to-head in a fierce transfer battle for RB Leipzig winger Antonio Nusa. The 21-year-old has emerged as one of the most sought-after young attackers in Europe after a stellar campaign in the Bundesliga. He shone at the World Cup. He also played in the exit that Norway suffered against England. They're holding a 51 million valuation of him. 4 goals and 3 assists in 31 Bundesliga appearances. Stats are not everything, but it's not one that makes you think, oh, that's an immediate level raiser at the point of entry into Arsenal Football Club. We know that Trossard's been sold. We know we've brought Zolis in. And we also know that Martinelli is allegedly available for transfer, people. So we'll have to see how that goes, people. Rafa Leao could be available for 43 million quid, it says here. Anyone want to go for that? I think someone could get robbed. Man City have gone quiet on Yan Diomande days ago after calls to check the situation. Same for Arsenal. Diomande has only opened doors to Real Madrid since he agreed personal terms with PSG. Real Madrid are now in club-to-club talks with Leipzig, people. So, yeah, Real Madrid had been on a scouting mission in Germany. So, have they blindsided the media? Because it was all Elise, Yan Diomande, and he'd be a history maker. I love to see African players, put at the forefront. I could be wrong. I'm not a Real Madrid fan, but there's no Ivorian player that's played for Real Madrid before, but it'd be good for Africa. Apparently, Arsenal beat MK Dons in a 3-0 behind closed doors friendly, people. The starting 11 was Kepa, Copley, a young player, Mosquera, Salmon, Calafiori, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Reece Nelson, I know he's still here, Wanyeri, Zolis, and Gabriel Jesus, and a bunch of young players got minutes in the second half, people. O'Neill, a young player in our academy, Wanyeri and Reece Nelson are all among the goal scorers. Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Gabriel Jesus, all got 1 year left on his deal. It goes without saying, but they need to move on. Arsenal have positioned themselves to act immediately should Julian Alvarez indicate he wants to join the club, sources have told Team Talk. Burton maintaining regular contact with the players' reps. Arsenal are prepared to break the current British transfer record if that's what it takes to sign Alvarez. However, internally, there's belief that any deal with Atletico would be completely well below that level. If it came to it, Julian Alvarez or Vinicius Jr., even though I don't think we're going to get either. Arsenal's plans for Alvarez sit entirely separate from the rest of their summer transfer budget, meaning the move for the player would not prevent them from pursuing another major attacking signing. We have heard that rhetoric before. Arsenal's transfer business is led primarily by Andrea Berta, supported by Chief Executive Richard Garlick and co-chair Josh Kroenke, who is understood to be more involved in the summer transfer business this year. I mean, let's rise up some signings. So, yeah, Arsenal have identified Vinicius as their priority target and are drawing up the strategy to sign him. The player is expected to return to Real Madrid training ground on Monday to have discussions on his contract situation. You got to remember, Real Madrid and Vinicius could be using Arsenal's interests against each other, if that makes sense. Like Vinicius saying, oh, I'm going to go Arsenal, slap a couple more zeros on it. Real Madrid the same. Do you get where I'm going? Romano and Guimarães said, trust me, behind the scenes, Mikel Arteta is pushing like crazy to sign Bruno Guimarães. Arteta considers Guimarães as the perfect player for Arsenal's midfield. Arteta can push as much as he wants. Josh Kroenke, Richard Garlick, Andrea Berta, names that I haven't said that are in charge of that. That's you. Arteta's a manager. He can identify, he can talk to targets, obviously, you know, when we're trying to sign them, but dotting I's, crossing T's, all that kind of jazz, it lays with them people. So they're going to have to get that. Hand of Arsenal said, Arsenal have discussed internally the signing of Vinny Jr. for some time. The feasibility is there's a deal. The feasibility is there to do a deal. Some highly influential people are involved in the matter. Very, very early days. But Arsenal are very serious if given the chance to sign him. For me, bro, unless he's holding a shirt, bids are accepted or rejected on the best of days, it'd be great. I'm not trying to hear this, really. It sounds great, but seeing is believing.